As our program comes to a close, we'd like to invite all of our fellow HRC youth ambassadors to the stage. Thank you all for sharing your stories and such powerful recommendations for our attendees. On behalf On behalf of all of us, we'd like to give a special thank you to all of you who gave up your holiday weekend to be at Time to Thrive. Your community, your commitment to the LGBTQ youth is incredibly inspiring and warms our hearts.
And now we'd like to introduce one more speaker to help us close out our conference this year. The woman, the myth, the legend, Sarah McBride.
Sarah McBride is the National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Campaign and the author of Tomorrow Will Be Different: Love, Loss, and the Fight for Trans Equality. In 2012, Sarah made national headlines when she came out as transgender while serving as student body president at American University. A native of Wilmington, Delaware, Sarah serves on the board of directors of Equality Delaware and helped lead the successful effort to add gender identity and expression to her state's non-discrimination laws.
Sarah became the first openly transgender person to address a major political party convention when she spoke at the 2016 Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia. Sarah is also currently running to be Delaware's next senator from the First State Senate District. If elected, she would be the first trans person ever elected to state senate in the USA.
Everyone, please give it up for the incomparable Sarah McBride.
Well, good. I think afternoon now, Time to Thrive. How y'all doing? My name is Sarah McBride. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I come from the greatest state in the history of the Union, Delaware. We have literally the entire state of Delaware apparently here. That's wonderful. Every year, Time to Thrive is such an empowering and enlightening experience because of so many different people. Because of our brilliant presenters, because of the staff and volunteers who make this possible, because of the amazing Time to Thrive team at HRC, Jesus, Pallavi, Catalina, Marcos, Andy, Ellen, and their fearless and fabulous Time to Thrive leader, Dr. Vinny Pompey. Let's bring them out on stage and show them our appreciation. And of course, at the heart of this experience is all of you. The work you all do in communities and classrooms across the country, in big cities and in small towns, is an act of love, a daring act of courage that fills me as a proud transgender woman with a deep and necessary sense of comfort. Because for all of the attacks on the LGBTQ community coming from the White House and from far too many state legislatures, something deeper and more powerful is happening in America. It doesn't often make headlines, but in the long course of history, it is more lasting and more profound than any single story of the day. It happens every time an LGBTQ teen comes out to a loving parent and feels the weight of the world lift from their shoulders. It happens every time a school counselor creates a safe space for a student to open up for the first time in their entire life. It happens every time an educator introduces their class to a girl named Jazz or shares the stories of Harvey, Marcia, and Sylvia. It happens It happens every time one of these youth ambassadors claims their rightful seat at the table while doing what once seemed so impossible to generations of LGBTQ people before them. They are both living their truth and dreaming big dreams all at the same time. And each one of these acts of love, each one of these acts of courage sets forth what Robert Kennedy called a tiny ripple of hope, that when met with others creates a current so great that it will knock down the highest walls of oppression and persecution. I know that we leave here moved and energized. I know we leave here ready to go back to our communities to work for and to fight for the change that we still so desperately need. And for all the noise, for all the bullshit crap that we see on television, for all the tweets, I was told by Zoe this is a PG event. For all the tweets and talking heads that fill our politics in this moment, we go forth from this space knowing that we have an opportunity and, more importantly, a responsibility to ensure that the story of 2020, the story of this moment, is not just about the man in the White House, that it's also the story of Nicole and Jazz, of all of these youth ambassadors, that it's the story of all of us organizing and mobilizing, volunteering and voting in order to renew our community's sense of hope and optimism and belief in the possibilities for progress that are before us. It has to be the story of us meeting the goodness of our people with a government at every level that more fully sees and hears all of us, so that we can build communities where everybody counts, where everyone matters, and where nobody gets left behind. Standing with you all and these inspiring HRC youth ambassadors, I have never been more optimistic that we can do our part here in the HRC family to write that story, and to write it the only way possible, together. And so to close us out, I have the honor of introducing one of the young people who is helping to write that story. A young trans woman who is doing what once seemed so impossible to me, it was incomprehensible growing up. Nicole Talbot is a nationally recognized transgender advocate and, without question, a future Broadway actress. Nicole has already been in 35 professional and community theater productions. She's a founding champion of the Gender Cool Project. She made history when she performed the national anthem in front of an audience of nearly 20,000 at the Boston Bruins game, something I could never do, and I'm saving those 20,000 people from my voice. And she was a leading voice in the successful effort to advance and protect non-discrimination protections in Massachusetts. And she did all of that by the age of 18. Please join me in welcoming Nicole Talbot to the microphone to close us out with a special performance of You Say.
I